Okay, let's just jump right in. We have a really fascinating scenario to start our deep dive today.
Yeah, this one cuts right to the heart of the whole smart home paradox, doesn't it?
It really does. So imagine this. You walk into your house, and it tracks, well, everything. Every movement, your exact position.
It even tracks the subtle expansion of your chest as you breathe.
Exactly. But, and this is the critical part, it does all of this with zero cameras. None. Is this, the ultimate intrusion, or is it maybe the future of privacy?
It's a great question, because for the last, decade, consumers have basically equated smart with a camera with visual surveillance.
Right, a doorbell camera, an indoor cam.
Exactly. But the sources we're seeing out of CES 2026,
Oh,
they
well,
show this massive coordinated turn away from that, a turn toward knowledge-based, non-visual interaction.
it feels like companies are finally getting it.
Yeah.
That the biggest barrier isn't always the cost.
It's the creepiness factor.
It is. And that's our mission today. We want to welcome you into this and really deep dive into these significant and often totally invisible shifts that our sources are pointing to in smart home tech.
We're looking at three big trends.
Three seismic trends, really. They're all about power, privacy, and maybe most surprisingly, price. And they're really changing the whole architecture of the connected home.
We're moving so far past the novelty of just, hey, turn on my light bulb.
Oh, yeah.
This deep dive is about understanding the pivot the whole industry is making towards extreme affordability and these real aha moments when the tech finally solves the big pain points for you.
Feeling watched, not being able to afford it, and
Yeah.
things always breaking or running out of batteries.
The big three.
So let's start where the biggest psychological barrier is, privacy. We're calling this the anti-camera revolution.
A good name for it.
For so long, people have just been reluctant to put cameras inside their living spaces. And it's a completely rational hesitation.
Totally rational. I mean, who wants a high-def record of them eating cereal in their underwear at 2 in the morning?
Nobody. It's a vulnerability most people just aren't willing to accept to, automate a light switch.
Right. And that's why this trend, they're calling presence sensing, is so strategic. It's engineered specifically to get around that core fear.
So let's look at the tech. The sources say it's a shift away from image processing.
It is. It's a shift toward pure radio frequency data. These new systems use advanced radar technology, specifically something called wave tech.
Wave. So if it's not visual, how is this different from the old motion sensors we've had for 20 years? Is it just a fancier version of that?
Not at all. That's the critical difference. An old PIR sensor, the ones we all know, it's like a light switch. It's on or off.
It just sees a blob of heat moving, right?
Exactly. A massive heat moves, it triggers.
Yeah.
That's it. M-Wave is completely different. It's more like a sophisticated sonar system. It creates a continuous 3D map of the density and movement in a room.
How? By bouncing waves off things.
Yeah, precisely. It bounces these tiny millimeter waves off objects, off people, and reads the signals that come back.
So the house knows where you are and what you're doing, but the core selling point is still no video feed.
Zero video feed. It's just analyzing physical position from radar signals. It's not capturing a visual identity.
It knows a person is on the couch.
Yes, and that another person just walked into the kitchen. It can even tell the difference between you and your dog. But there is no footage to store, to hack, or for anyone to review. It's just pure processed data about location and state.
And this is where it gets really interesting based on what the sources were highlighting. The functionality is it's miles beyond old sensors.
Oh, it's not even in the same league.
They mentioned the ability to track up to 10 people in a single room simultaneously.
Which is huge for complex home automation. Imagine lights following specific people.
And maybe more critically, the system can detect if a person falls. That's a massive safety feature, especially for, older people living alone.
And that's just the beginning. The real breakthrough is detecting those tiny micro movements.
Like breathing.
Exactly. Because the wavelength is so small in the millimeter range, it can literally see the subtle expansion and contraction of your chest while you sleep.
So you're getting proactive health monitoring, sleep reports, tracking vital signs, all without a camera pointed at your bed.
Right. It's a huge shift.
But wait a second. If this data can track my breathing, my sleep patterns, isn't that data profile, in a way, more sensitive than a video? A video shows I was in the kitchen. This shows I might have sleep apnea.
That is the critical question, and it's where the strategy comes in. The companies are pivoting from what you could call data extraction, a camera grabbing everything, to data synthesis.
What does that mean, synthesis?
It means the goal is to give the application, like turning on a light or sending a fall alert, only the minimum necessary data point, just the location or the state, nothing more.
So the raw health data, where does it go?
It's processed locally on the device itself. It's not being streamed to a server halfway across the world for analysis.
Ah, local processing. That's the key. You keep the most intimate data inside the four walls of your house.
Absolutely. The whole thing is a trust rebuilding exercise for the industry, and we're seeing major players like Aquara, even security giants like ADT rolling this out now.
So this isn't just a concept, it's happening.
It's already underway. They see non-visual sensing as the only way to win back the skeptical consumer.
Okay, that addresses the big privacy barrier. So let's shift from high-tech radar to the second major barrier for smart homes,
Right.
the cost.
Right. Because if presence sensing removes the psychological wall.
Affordability has to tear down the financial one.
Yeah.
And one major retailer is using just ridiculously low pricing to disrupt the entire sensor market.
This is the answer to the question. Why isn't every home a smart home yet? Because instrumenting a whole house, every window, every door, every sink, it costs a fortune.
Thousands of dollars, easily.
So how do you get mass adoption? You make the entry point so cheap, it's an impulse buy.
And when I say cheap, I mean shocking. The sources are highlighting Ikea's strategy here. They're introducing these foundational sensors, water leak sensors, door sensors, for $5.
Under $10 a unit.
Crazy.
To put that into market context for you, that price point doesn't just disrupt the market, it obliterates the old business model.
What did these things used to cost?
Typically around $40 per sensor, sometimes more if they're locked into a proprietary system like Ring or Nest.
So that's an 80% price cut. If you want to cover a normal house, you might need, what, 15 door and window sensors?
At least. Plus a few water leak sensors under the sinks.
At $40 a pop, you're spending $600 or $700 just on those basic pieces.
Exactly, and that forces you to choose which window is most important, which kind of defeats the point of whole home security.
But at $5,
At $5, you buy them in bulk, like batteries. You just throw one under every sink on every single window without a second thought.
it's the democratization of security. This IKEA sensor effect, it just kills the high-margin hardware competition.
It forces competitors to make money on cloud subscriptions, not on the hardware itself. It shifts the whole model.
And it turns smart home tech from a luxury gadget for early adopters into a standard utility, like a smoke detector.
IKEA can do that because of their scale. They don't need to make $40 on one sensor. They treat it like an accessory, a traffic driver.
It's the old razor and blade model.
Yeah.
Get the cheap hardware in your hands and you become part of their ecosystem. You might buy more expensive stuff later.
It's a loss leader that completely resets what you, the consumer, expect a sensor to cost.
And, as the sources mentioned, in true IKEA fashion, the sensors have these unpronounceable names, like MIG spray.
Of course they do.
But at that price, who cares what it's called? The function and the price are all that matter.
And that low cost is foundational for the presence sensing we just talked about. If a house needs 15 different sensors to be truly intelligent, the total price has to be low enough for you to actually do it.
Right, all ties together. Which brings us to our third major trend, the ultimate convenience upgrade.
The maintenance problem.
Yes. We've covered privacy, no cameras. We've covered price dirt cheap sensors. Now let's talk about power. Or rather, getting rid of the annoying maintenance.
Every smart homeowner knows this pain. You get that notification at 3 a.m., front door lock, battery low.
The worst.
Mm-hmm.
Or you just find out when the door won't unlock. That constant high-stakes maintenance burden is the silent killer of smart home adoption.
It's always the most critical device that dies first, too.
Always. But the real showstopper, according to the sources that's trying to solve this, was the AuraCharge locks.
This is a genuine leap forward because it hits that most persistent point of friction, battery maintenance. AuraCharge changes how power is even delivered to these devices.
Okay, electricity beamed through the air sounds a little like science fiction. How does this actually work? Is it like a wireless phone charger?
That's a great question. It's similar in concept, but way more advanced. It's not like that contact-based charging where your phone has to touch the pad.
Right.
AuraCharge uses a tightly focused radio frequency beam. So you'd have a dedicated transmitter, maybe hidden in a nearby lamp or disguised as a power outlet. It's directional energy.
So it's not just broadcasting power everywhere into the room, wasting it.
Exactly. It's aiming a specific beam of energy right at the lock. The receiver on the lock is optimized to capture that beam and convert it back into DC electricity to power everything.
And the really critical detail from the sources was the range.
The range is what makes it viable.
They cited 4 meters. 4 meters away for continuous power. That seems like a really significant distance.
4 meters is the difference between a cool tech demo and a real product you can actually use. It means one transmitter in a hallway can power the lock on your front door, maybe a smart thermostat on the wall.
All without wires or battery changes.
The end result is simple and honestly deeply satisfying. The lock never dies. You install it, you're done. Forever.
So what does that do for the design of the lock itself? Can they use smaller batteries now just for backup?
That's the real implication for innovation, yes. Before, everything was designed around battery life. Now, the battery becomes a tiny, cheap backup for a power outage, not the primary source.
Which frees up engineers.
It frees them up to use more powerful motors, brighter screens, better computer chips. Performance and reliability can go way up when you know you have constant power.
That is the crucial takeaway for you, the listener. This tech gets rid of the biggest hassle. I feel seen. I can finally stop stealing AA batteries from the TV remote when my lock starts beeping at midnight.
It just removes that final point of friction from owning this stuff, and that really speaks to the whole trend we've been seeing.
How so?
CES 2026 wasn't really about launching crazy new categories of devices. It was about making the existing useful categories invisible, reliable, and just fundamentally easier to live with.
So let's synthesize these 3 trends that the sources pointed to, the big takeaways.
Well, first, they're making technology invisible. They're using radar to give you knowledge without surveillance. Privacy first.
Second, they're making it dirt cheap. Retailers like Ikea are destroying the financial barrier to instrumenting your whole house.
And finally, they're making it maintenance-free with innovations like AuraCharge. That is the true invisible revolution in the smart home. It's seamless, non-intrusive utility.
It's a huge shift. We've gone from a world where you bought one smart gadget to a world where you can afford to embed intelligence into every part of your house.
Without feeling watched or needing a toolbox full of batteries.
That holistic integration is everything. When you systematically remove all the barriers to entry, the cost, the privacy fears, the maintenance, the whole landscape just changes.
The smart home stops being a collection of separate gadgets, and it finally starts becoming a single, cohesive, intelligent environment.
So to wrap this up, here's the final provocative thought we want to leave you with, building on that AuraCharge idea.
Go for it.
If a small motorized lock can get continuous power from 4 meters away, wirelessly,
Yep.
what's next? What larger, more power-hungry devices in your home might soon ditch their power cords entirely?
Kitchen appliances, desk lamps.
Your entire entertainment center. What does that kind of power freedom mean for how we even design our homes when the electrical socket might actually become optional?
That is something to think about as this invisible revolution really starts to take hold.
Yeah.